we spent a little time talking about Jared Vanderbilt. When is this guy coming back? I mean, this guy hasn't played since February 1st, 2024. Lakers had a game, if you guys remember, against the Boston Celtics. LeBron and Anthony Davis didn't play in that game. They were supposed to get their asses kicked, and then all of a sudden, they won that game. But in that game, a regular season game, Lakers were kind of reeling at that point, and then that kind of really changed the rest of the trajectory of the Lakers and changed the season. But at that point for the Lake Show, they were struggling. They get that win against the Boston Celtics, but unfortunately in that same game, Jared Vanderbilt goes down with an injury. Yesterday, Dave McMenamin tweeted this out. Lakers practice yesterday, so I'm pretty sure this is coming from practice, and it's coming from JJ Redick. Here's what Dave McMenamin said about Vando. Jared Vanderbilt's ramp up after offseason foot procedures in May has gone slower than the Lakers anticipated, per the team. There have been no setbacks. However, he'll be reevaluated in a couple weeks, per the team. All right, it's kind of weird, when they say there's been no setbacks, but I don't know if anybody expected him for him to be out as long as he is, or maybe his recovery process is taking a lot longer than he anticipated. Whatever it is, there's a difference between coming back. If you're a Laker fan out there and you say, oh, okay, so that means Jared Vanderbilt's coming back in a couple weeks. No, it doesn't. What it means is that they're going to reevaluate him in a couple weeks. And then based on that reevaluation, all right, he's good to go. All right, now you're going to start that ramp-up process, on-court activity, whatever it is. He's not coming back anytime soon. At least it doesn't sound like. If he's going to be reevaluated in a couple months, I'd be shocked if he's actually in a Laker jersey playing in games by the time, we get to Christmas. Maybe not shocked, but I'd be surprised. I think the best way to look at Jared Vanderbilt at this point is you got to look at this team. You got to look at this roster. You got to see what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses. And then you also got to stop depending on Jared Vanderbilt. I had a couple of people yesterday when I brought up Vando. And I didn't read the comments when they were live, but I read them a little bit later in my post-game show analysis of the Sliwa show. I got a whole team. There's 37 of us that watch every minute. It's like, you guys ever seen those boardrooms where you have all the CEOs and all the board members looking at PowerPoints and everything? That's what we do with my show right when the show is done. I was looking at one of the comments. One of the comments said, Al, you just can't depend on Jared Vanderbilt, period. I think I'm starting to lean towards that. That doesn't mean that Vando can't come back. That doesn't mean that eventually Jared Vanderbilt can't contribute to the Lakers. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. But what it means is, at least for today, I don't think you could look at this Lakers team right now and say, okay, well, here's what it's going to look like when Vando returns. I would rather wait. Let's wait for Vando to come back, whenever that is. Maybe that's a month from now. Maybe that's a month and a half from now. Maybe it's in 3 weeks. Probably best case scenario, probably by the time you get to Christmas that he's back. But kind of planning around Vando, what it's going to look like, how effective he's going to be for the Lakers, I'm putting the pause on that. I definitely got some hesitation on that. And I think that comment that hit me yesterday, I was like, no, he's coming back. He's coming. Reevaluated in a couple of weeks. I think the Lakers, at least at this point, you're approaching Jared Vanderbilt, at least for the near future, of, all right, we'll just kind of, if and when he does come back, and if he's feeling good and he's feeling healthy, then you could start to calculate how he's going to help this Lakers team. I still think he's an incredibly important piece for the Lakers. I think a lot of people thought yesterday in that last year in that playoff run, when he wasn't able to come back for the playoffs, they thought that was critical. I don't disagree. Another guy that you can have guarding Jamal Murray, certainly that would have helped. They're going to need him this year because you can't be a team that's just relying on offense. You can't be a team that's just, you got to have defenders. You got to have players that can get you stops. We know Anthony Davis can do that, but can some of these other players? Not necessarily. So that's the latest on Vando, and unfortunately, it doesn't sound like there's a clear-cut date of when Vando's coming back. He'll be back no sooner than Christmas. I agree with you on that. I count more in my ex over Vando. Brian, thank you for sharing that. Hopefully, everything's going well with your personal life, and that relationship that you had. Vando is a bonus if he ever comes back. No need to factor him in as an asset. Here's the problem, Dave, and I appreciate the comment there. Brian, again, thank you for sharing with us your personal life. We appreciate that. Everybody here is more than happy to help in any way possible. I don't think you could look at Vando as a bonus because they need him. If you said, let me give you a name. If Christian Wood came back and he was productive, that to me is a bonus. Vando is critical. If Max Christie was all of a sudden was better off with his contributions and felt more comfortable and actually day to day was an asset to the Lakers, that to me is more of a bonus. Vando is critical. That's why they gave him the 4 years that they gave him with that extension. And a lot, I go back to this and I'll say it again. Players like that, you got to have in the league, you got to have on your team. If you're going to make deep playoff runs, you got to have guys that are specialists on the defensive side. He's a specialist on the defensive end. So I don't know if he's a bonus. I think I know what you're trying to say. What you're trying to say is you can't depend on him. If he does come back, then, you capitalize that he's there. But I think there's a bigger issue there. I think he's going to be a critical piece for the Lakers. They're going to need him back.